Entire game. 2.5 hours of getting rolled. No pushback. Not competitive. And I was thinking of this. You know, people love to point out when opinionists like myself and others, many others, are wrong. But what happens when you are? Years ago, there was this argument that KD was better than LeBron, and I laughed at it over and over. LeBron's game, there's more depth. He's a leader. He's stronger. He's more reliable. And he makes really good decisions. What if Kevin Durant gets rolled here in round one by Minnesota? Not exactly a historical juggernaut. It will point out what the almost apologetic NBA media always fails to do. KD makes bad decisions. Can you imagine Patrick Mahomes saying, I'm done with Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. I want to go play for the Jets because I like this slot receiver. That's essentially what KD did, leaving a dynasty. At one point, the argument that KD was better than LeBron was a furious debate. I rolled my eyes at it. KD is a great shot maker, an all-timer, love his game. But his skill set should put him in the top 1 or 2 in the last decade. And frankly, he's getting lost. Jokic looks much better historically. Steph is really the soul of the Warriors, winning titles before him, during, and after. Anthony Davis now is a more consistent player on both ends. Giannis has more regular season MVPs. As I'm watching Phoenix get rolled, Kevin Durant's becoming increasingly irrelevant. It wasn't long ago that the apologetic NBA media gave him a pass for leaving the NBA penthouse from ownership down for a fixer-upper in Brooklyn and then a remodel in Phoenix. And it's not working here either. I like him. I like his game. I've said if there was a one-on-one tournament, he'd probably beat Jordan. He's a great scorer. But NBA players have power and they have leverage. That doesn't mean they make good decisions. What if he gets rolled by Minnesota after that debacle in Brooklyn? Anybody in the NBA media going to call him out? You'd call out Mahomes because the NFL media isn't here to protect its stars. It's here to cover them. Report, not support. But you know what KD's starting to feel like? You're going to call me nuts. Like a more available Kawhi. Enigmatic, mysterious, not sure why he does what he does, super talented, can get you a basket and a stop. But what is he? Is he just somebody that's talented with a skill set that should make him a top 2 player in the league? But with all these young, great players coming, most from Europe, Jokic now established as the best player. What's the gap between Jokic and Durant? It's not close. It's the Grand Canyon. And LeBron's already established him as a Grand Canyon separation from KD. Steph Curry now has separated. Giannis has more regular season MVPs. It's not to say I don't like KD's game, but couldn't I argue he's kind of closer to Kawhi now than the best players of the league? Is that a hot take? But when he left Golden State that had the best GM arguably and the best coach and the best unit and the best players, because, you know, he struggled sometimes with a Kerr or a Draymond. Get over it. Like, I know he just wanted to go play with his friend, but in every other sport, would you leave a Yankee dynasty to go play with the Rays? Really? If you already had the bag? Would you leave the Chiefs and Andy Reid as a quarterback because you had a buddy going to play for the Jets? I thought the decision at the time was ridiculous, and nobody called him out on it. And maybe that's just the NBA where players have power and leverage and can do what they want to do. But if they do get rolled by Minnesota, and I mean, they didn't look constructed well. Like, that wasn't competitive. And I think they'll come back and be competitive. But what does KD become? And I asked J-Mac, who's got a personal relationship apparently with him, what will he become as I watch for 2.5 hours? Phoenix not be, and by the way, Booker was awful. I'm not blaming KD. What does he become? Because I know the debate 4 years ago that I rolled my eyes at was, he's better than LeBron. That Warriors title, once he left, kind of put the dagger on that argument, didn't it?
I would say so. But let's be real. That whole KD better than LeBron, it wasn't like a 5-minute argument. That was 2 years where they went back-to-back. KD was the best player on the best team, and KD annihilated LeBron in the finals. Now, he did have a stacked deck.
A stacked deck.
He had a stacked deck. Yeah, right. Since then, he's done jack squat. The thing that troubled me, and I still think the Suns win this series. Let's not overreact to game one. He had 1 assist in 39 minutes, and that's been his game. I just want to hoop. I want to go. Well, that's not basketball. It's a team sport. In the huddle, who's getting on Devin Booker? D-Book, what's going on? McDaniels is locking you up? I mean, Booker could do nothing. If they're getting 15, 20 points from Booker, they're not winning this series.
It was an F in terms of effort. They were completely pushed around for 2.5 hours. And again, I can think 2 things at one time. I think he's an all-time great player. But he's becoming less relevant. I mean, when Kawhi misses a game and they trounce the Mavericks, I said this 2 years ago, you got to move off Kawhi. Well, what are we doing here? What do we keep pretending he's something?
They're not doing that. Come on. The Clippers opening. By the way, I drove by the new Clippers facility. Have you seen the outside?
It's gorgeous.
It looks amazing. It looks like something out of the Avengers.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, what is Kevin Durant? We do the whole legacy thing. It's been 1 game in the playoffs. But you start to he can't be a top 10 player all time. He just cannot if he doesn't.
Well, he's not a guy that calls players out. He wouldn't call Simmons out in Houston.
Well, no, he'll do it on podcasts. He'll do it in
but he won't
appearances.
be it. He wouldn't call Kyrie out in person in Brooklyn. He didn't call Booker out this weekend. Again, some guy, Kobe Bryant was confrontational. Michael Jordan was confrontational. I don't know if LeBron is or not. KD's not. Maybe a podcast confrontational, but not real. And again, I like his game. But considering his skill set, I mean, I've had people tell me that we're on the Olympic staff, like, you cannot believe his talent. It's next generation. It doesn't even make sense compared to other great players. And I'm just like, now I look at him and I'm like, this Phoenix thing ain't working. I mean, is this what it is? They got hot at the end of the season, mostly because Beal played great.
I think let's not get caught overreacting, Colin. Okay? It is just 1 game. But something's got to change pretty quick. I think Durant has to be who's the leader in that huddle?
Well, no, we've said
Anthony Edwards is punking everyone on the team.
We said this for years now. Before Chris Paul got there, Phoenix was awful.
Yeah.
With Devin Booker. So Chris Paul was the leader. So Chris Paul leaves. Say what you want, he's a leader. Kevin comes in. Well, Kevin's not a leader. And Beal doesn't want to be a leader. And Booker's never been the leader. They're just talented dudes. They're just great players. So it's sort of a rudderless ship. Like Anthony Edwards was embracing leadership. Mike Conley, historically, they brought Mike Conley in. Well, that's a leader.
It was Karl-Anthony Towns' team, and pretty quickly we realized this is Ant Squad.
Well, and they also brought in Mike Conley, because Mike Conley's high IQ, veteran player.
He was terrible, by the way.
He was, but he holds guys accountable. Chris Paul hasn't been good, but Chris is verbally, he'll come after you.
Like, you knew when the Bucks came out, like Dame Lillard was in that huddle. Guys, Giannis ain't here. I've been to this show before.
I've always thought Dame's a leader.
Right.
I've always thought Dame's a leader.
You can't quantify that, but does Kevin Durant have the leadership gene?
I went to a Lakers-Warriors game. You and I went to. The one when you were way upstairs. And when I went to that game, the game was over late. Draymond Green, as I left the arena with 2 minutes left, Draymond Green's on the huddle. And they lead by whatever, 10, 12, barking. Like some guy, and by the way, his barking was off-putting to Durant, who was there at the same time. You can't leave that team for Brooklyn. You can't leave Steph for Kyrie. You can't do that. And then you can't want out and go to Phoenix and not be a leader when you know Booker and Beal aren't. Like, at some point, let's stop supporting, start reporting, and being honest here.
It's weird that he made such a great move dumping OKC and Russ to go to Golden State. Like, genius move, one of the smartest I've ever seen in the NBA. And then everything since then has just not been good. I don't know why. I still don't know why he picked Kyrie in Brooklyn. Kyrie's kind of like cool among the players, love him. You know, Kyrie is your favorite player's favorite player. You know that saying? I don't know if anybody's favorite player, other than Anthony Edwards, is KD. Because all he does is score. He doesn't make anyone better.
1 assist.
In 39 minutes.
Are we being too harsh? Calling right, calling wrong, top of next hour. Maybe we're too harsh. Maybe we have to soften things up. Become like the NBA media.
I'm coming in hot.
I'm so excited for the draft Thursday.
Yeah.
In fact, I've had 2 opportunities to get a free dinner Wednesday. I've turned it off.